Explore the most challenging places to call home, from political strife to economic hardships. Discover which countries rank lowest in quality of life. Yemen. In Yemen, a devastating humanitarian crisis has unfolded amidst ongoing conflict, political instability, and economic collapse. The country has been embroiled in a complex civil war since 2014, pitting Houthi rebels against the internationally recognized government with significant involvement from regional powers. The conflict has led to widespread violence, displacement, and a dire humanitarian situation, including food insecurity, malnutrition, and outbreaks of disease. Infrastructure has been severely damaged, limiting access to basic services such as healthcare and clean water. Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, decades of conflict, political instability, and insecurity have created significant challenges for its people. The country has faced protracted conflict, including the presence of insurgent groups such as the Taliban, leading to widespread violence, displacement, and loss of life. The security situation remains precarious, hindering economic development and access to essential services such as healthcare and education. Afghanistan also grapples with issues such as widespread poverty, corruption, and limited infrastructure. Lebanon. An economic crisis coupled with hyperinflation has plunged the country into turmoil, wreaking havoc on the lives of its citizens. The Lebanese economy has been in freefall, marked by a severe devaluation of the currency, skyrocketing prices, and widespread unemployment. Hyperinflation has eroded purchasing power, making basic goods and services unaffordable for many. The crisis has sparked social unrest, with protests erupting over economic hardship and government mismanagement. Amidst the turmoil, businesses have shuttered, livelihoods have been lost, and families struggle to make ends meet. North Korea. The authoritarian regime tightly controls all aspects of life, resulting in severe limitations on personal freedoms and widespread human rights abuses. The country faces chronic food shortages and struggles to provide basic necessities for its citizens. The economy is heavily centralized and subject to international sanctions, leading to economic stagnation and limited access to resources. Despite efforts to portray an image of strength and prosperity, many North Koreans endure poverty, malnutrition, and lack of access to healthcare and education. South Sudan. In South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, ongoing conflict, political instability, and humanitarian crises have left the country in a state of turmoil since gaining independence in 2011. The country has faced internal conflicts, including ethnic conflicts and power struggles among political leaders, resulting in extensive displacement, loss of life, and human rights abuses. In addition to the impact of conflict, South Sudan also grapples with economic challenges, including poverty, food insecurity, and lack of access to basic services such as healthcare and education. Syria. A devastating civil war has ravaged the country for over a decade, resulting in untold human suffering and widespread destruction. The conflict has led to millions of civilians being displaced internally or seeking refuge in neighboring countries and beyond. The cities are destroyed, basic services such as healthcare and education are severely disrupted, and the economy is devastated. The humanitarian crisis is exacerbated by ongoing violence, including airstrikes, shelling, and other forms of warfare, leading to civilian casualties and immense trauma. Venezuela. Hyperinflation has caused widespread disruption to the economy, causing extreme high prices and immense hardship for its citizens. In 2024, inflation rates soared to unprecedented levels, with some estimates surpassing thousands or even millions of percent annually. Basic necessities such as food, medicine, and household goods have become prohibitively expensive, making it nearly impossible for ordinary Venezuelans to afford them. The hyperinflationary spiral has eroded savings, decimated purchasing power, and pushed many into poverty. Ukraine. The ongoing conflict in the eastern regions, fueled by geopolitical tensions and supported by Russia-backed separatists, has profoundly impacted the lives of its citizens. The war has resulted in a devastating toll, with thousands of casualties, widespread displacement, and extensive damage to homes and infrastructure. Families have been torn apart, livelihoods shattered, and communities fractured by violence and uncertainty. The conflict has also exacerbated economic hardship, with job losses and disrupted access to basic services further compounding the challenges faced by Ukrainians. Burundi. It is considered being the poorest country in the world. The majority of the population struggles to meet even their most basic needs, with high levels of unemployment, inadequate access to education and healthcare, and widespread food insecurity. Economic opportunities are limited, particularly in rural areas where agriculture is the primary source of livelihood for many. The cycle of poverty is perpetuated by factors such as political instability, corruption, and inadequate infrastructure. The city of Gaza. The ongoing conflict between Palestinian armed groups and Israel has perpetuated a cycle of violence and suffering for its residents. The region has experienced multiple military confrontations, including airstrikes, rocket attacks, and ground incursions, resulting in civilian casualties and widespread destruction of infrastructure. The blockade imposed by Israel severely restricts the movement of goods and people in and out of the city, exacerbating the humanitarian crisis. The protracted conflict has left Gaza's population trapped in a cycle of fear, insecurity, hunger, and despair.